Hello, everyone. Welcome to another Triforce podcast.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
Wow.
We're back again.
Wow.
Can't believe it.
What a great crowd that we've
Yeah,
got here.
way, wow.
So wonderful to be here. So, Flax, you went on holiday.
I did, yeah.
Sips, you have...
I went on holiday too, thank you very much. I went to Guernsey for the day. Actually, last week I went to Saint Malo in France for the day.
Oh, that's nice.
And then this week I went to Guernsey for the day. So
wow, you've really been a global traveler.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Did you get the car ferry over to each of them?
The one to Saint Malo is a big car ferry. Yeah, we didn't take the car though. We just went as foot passengers. The one to Guernsey is a floating small coffin, and you feel every single wave in the ocean when you're on it as well. And the baby was sick, so there you go.
Yeah. Was it? How far is it though? Like, it's only like 10 minutes, right?
No, it takes an hour and 20 minutes to get there.
What the heck?
Yep.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I saw. I looked at the map. I was like, "There's no way it takes an hour and 20 minutes to go that far. We must be going somewhere else first." But no, it was just an hour and 20 minutes straight up.
God.
Yeah,
Oh.
and it was choppy as shit on the way there, but nice and smooth on the way back. So it was
how
pretty
was it? The rival island. Do you think it's better or worse than Guernsey and than Jersey?
It's nice. It's got a lot of charm. A lot of charm that hasn't been lost. I think because it's a bit smaller. You know. It's quaint, very quaint, and in the summer, really nice. Lots of flowers and stuff everywhere. It looks really, really picturesque. You know, it's nice. There's parts of Jersey that are still like that, but Jersey's just much bigger. So it's
Do you want to invade? Do you feel threatened? Do you have like the rivalry?
Not if I have to take that boat again. No, I don't want to invade. I'll invade by air. Yeah, that would be better.
What prompted it? What prompted you going? Just a day out or something?
My kids, none of my kids have ever been, so we just thought, be fun. Be fun to say, yeah, we've been to Guernsey. You live over here. I don't even think I've been to Guernsey before for work, but I've never been just on a day break just to wander around and eat and stuff like that. It's always been I had to go to a meeting or something like that, and I didn't get to see anything. So yeah, it was nice. It was good.
Would you go to the other little ones like the Sark and the Jethu and the Herm and the one where
I don't know.
You're making shit up. Those are
these
Game of Thrones islands.
These all exist. So they're small. Sark I've been to. I would maybe go again. It's not that interesting. I mean, I'll probably take my kids just so that they can see what it's like to be living 300 years ago. There's Alderney. I've never been to Alderney. It's a bit further though.
Wasn't there? We talked about this on the podcast. I'm sure there was a guy who invaded one of them.
Yeah, Sark. I think it was.
Yeah, wasn't he German?
Lad.
He was something. He
might
was
French. He was French.
And anyway, speaking of French, you went on holiday as well, Flax.
Yeah, we did. It was okay.
You didn't go to France though, did you?
Yeah, we did. Yeah.
Oh,
we went to. We decided, which was looking back now. At the time, it sounded like a great decision. It might not have been a great decision. We were like, let's go to. We can't decide between Italy and France. Let's go on holiday for 10 days, and we'll spend 5 days in one and 5 days in the other. And it was kind of like...
Hang on. Which phase of sadness are you in right now? Because when you came back, you were like saying, this will make a great story for the podcast. And like you were angry. And I think now you're like
now I'm just
disappointed.
kind of disappointed. Like it's been... Well, let me think. We've been back about a week or something now. So it was like... we've had some really good holidays as a family. Trip to California was really great. We spent some time in Croatia. That was great. Like we've had some really nice holidays. And in the UK as well. And this was like 10 days. And I think the reason I'm kind of most bummed out is I sort of blame myself for what went wrong. I found these places on Airbnb. I spent a long time looking, and I thought these were good places. And in both instances, I was pretty disappointed, in all honesty. I'll tell you, there's quite a few things that happened. So first of all, we went to this place called Alassio, which is in Liguria, beautiful part of Italy, northwestern coast. And a long-time subscriber of mine that I've played Dota with for years, Italian lad, that's his neighborhood. He recommended this area, and it's beautiful. I would recommend it to anybody, hands down. Driving in Italy, however, is still not fun. And parking in Italy is even worse. And unfortunately, the hire car that we got was a little bigger than I would have liked. They were like, well, we don't have the car you asked for, so here's this fucking bus that you're going to drive around in these tiny Italian roads. I was like, fuck me. And they don't seem to have the same rules we have over here, where you don't have parking spaces right where someone's going to be turning, because people might need to like swing their car out to make this turn. They're like, no, you can squeeze a car in there, fucking put a parking space in. So there's just nowhere to park. So we had to park on this right outside our apartment, but we had to pay for parking every day, which was expensive. And Mrs. F, at one point, we had to renew it online. Between 8 and 8, you had to pay to park here. She was 1 minute late, €20 fine.
Holy crap.
They fucking love handing out fines in Italy for driving. They fucking love it. This lad was 1 minute. He was there. He was literally waiting. Bam, give him a ticket. And then there was this barrier. Like they have toll roads everywhere in this part of France and Italy. We got to the toll and it wouldn't take our card. And the machine was just going, please insert payment. Please insert payment. For like 5 minutes, it's just saying this. My youngest, who sits in the front with me, was crying. She was so upset by this machine just barking at us to pay. I pressed the button, which is help, and it's just ringing and ringing. Please insert payment. Finally, this really nice Italian guy behind me, he comes over and he's like, come si dice? Che so, and I was like, oh, do you speak English? He was like, oh, see, I speak English. And I was like, this fucking thing is busted. Can you help us? And he was like, we tried. We had like 5 different cards, debit cards, credit cards. We're trying to beep them all. It's not taking it. We hadn't had time to pick up any cash yet. He talks to the woman on the phone. She's like, prego or pronto, like whatever it is on the phone. He explains the situation. And she's like, tell him to just pay later. We'll let him through. We couldn't find a website. We couldn't find any way to pay. There's no way that I can figure out how we're meant to pay this fine. So I'm expecting a letter in the post from the Italian traffic people any day now saying you fucking didn't pay for this toll. It's like €2 or something.
Right.
But I know they're going to come after us. But anyway, so the apartment itself was pretty Spartan. It was all right. It was fine. The kids seemed happy enough. But there was no sort of aircon in it at all beyond this one tiny little aircon unit, which is just chugging away, trying to do its best. But it was like 34, 35 degrees. We were melting in this apartment.
Oh, that sucks.
And the sun's just beating down on it all day. We'd go to the beach to cool off. We were like, it's fine. We'll just spend some time at the beach. We'll cool off. Do you guys know the situation in Italy with beaches?
Oh God, this is already a roller coaster. Let me guess.
Yes.
It is. There is a queuing system.
No.
They let their dogs shit everywhere there.
No.
The towels are.
No.
Nudity.
No.
Full nudity.
No.
And intercourse.
No.
On the beach.
No.
Okay.
I don't know.
Any guesses? See, this is
Those are
so
all my
far
guesses.
removed. Right, these are so far removed from the reality because we can't imagine this. You cannot go on the fucking beach without paying.
Oh.
What?
They own the beach. Like the government has let out the sort of rights to hire, to charge people to go on the beach.
So how much does it cost to go to the beach?
€100 a day.
What?
You're joking.
The
I
fuck?
am not kidding.
Is it a nice beach?
I mean, it's okay.
Fuck me, man. You guys got to come to Jersey. They got great beaches here. They're free as well.
So I had no idea. But the beach is sectioned off. If you go to Alassio, which is beautiful, the water is really warm. Really clean.
€100 a day.
Yeah.
Fucking hell.
Because what happens
is the beach just empty?
No, it's
Who
packed.
the fuck pays all that money to go to the beach for a day?
So
You'd have to pay me that much money to go to the beach for the day.
Right, I know. So you have to hire a sun lounger with an umbrella. You have to. Right? There's no option.
So there's does that come included in your €100 a day?
Yeah. That's your €100, right? More.
So you get some equipment hire.
Yeah,
is what you're saying.
But it's your little section.
That's not so bad. Do you
It's
get a little
just the
boat?
beds. No, you get nothing.
That sucks.
So you get your 2 little deck chairs, your two things. And we were like, we only need 2 and an umbrella. They were like, no, your kids are too big. They're going to have sun loungers too because they're basically adults. I was like, they're not going to use them. They're like, we don't care. And they were all like that, all of them. So it was €100 for a family of 4 to go to the beach. You are literally cheek by jowl with all the other beachgoers on that section. They're like, there's no gaps other than a narrow passage to walk. So you are lying there and you're next to a stranger and there's a stranger behind you, a stranger in front of you. You're just surrounded and it's like you're packed in. You can access the water for free, but you have to walk through the paid part of beach to do that and they won't let you through. So there is these little public avenues like every half mile. There's like a tiny narrow strip which no one owns And that area is packed with holidaymakers who don't want to have to pay 100 euros a day. So you can't get through there anyway because it's full of people. And it's
this
super frowned
insane.
upon. I had no idea. The interesting thing is this is inherited. So if I own it, when I die, it goes to my kids. There's no bidding process. There's no, it'll be some different company next year, competition. No. These are all families that have owned the rights to hire out these beaches for fucking ever. And they have this huge coastline. Obviously, Italy is mostly coastline, right? Almost all of their beaches are privately owned like this. So the government owns the land, but they allow people to rent it out. So that was one thing. So the heat. So it's like, let's go to the beach. Ridiculously expensive.
It's so weird. I guess I've never experienced that before. Having been, I usually go to like these Greek or Spanish islands, and as a result, there's just beaches around the whole thing, and they're all deserted. Especially if you drive 5 minutes up the road, there'll be no one there at all. And I'm sure it's like that in other countries as well. And it must be like that in parts of Italy where it's not so busy, right?
No, I don't. I think anywhere where you might want to go to the beach is like literally like that. There's a big story right now about it. If you read, you can find it. Like it's this really big. I think it's Libre Mare or something. Libre Mare. It's like the beach. The ocean should be free. Like it's for me. Like that's the movement against this beach ownership shit. If you tried this in the UK or a lot of other countries, I would be fucking turning over those things and they'd be straight in the fucking sea.
Oh my God. I bet you they've got all the papers open and they're rubbing their hands together with boners. Like, oh yeah, we could charge people to use the beaches too? Oh my God.
There's no fucking way. Try it.
They would love, I know it would not happen, but they would love to do it. Man, they should charge you for fucking everything over here. It's crazy.
Of course. But so that was bad. And we
Sir, how many breaths have you taken today? That'll cost you £75 per breath.
Did you breathe in ocean air? There's
cost
an ocean
of living
air
crisis?
surtax.
Never heard of it.
Yeah,
sorry.
You can afford to go to the beach. You can afford to pay me 100 euros to go to the beach. That's all there is to it. So, and then we were like, sorry, we'll drive around somewhere. But driving was so unpleasant, and it was like just navigating the car.
Did you have
aircon
in the car?
Yeah, thank God.
Oh well, there you go.
But we just didn't move the car. We flew into Nice, drove to Alassio. I was like, I am not moving the car. We have a parking space. That in itself is a miracle. And driving around here is awful. So let's just sit tight. Mrs. F was like, yeah, fuck, this is really bad.
This is really interesting. All this is like, so there's 12,000 beach resorts with daily prices for 2 loungers and umbrella, averaging 35 euros and costing as much as 700 euros in exclusive locations. In a country with 7,000 kilometers of coastline, almost 70% of the beaches are private, with several towns reaching 100% privatization in northern Italy. In Liguria, it talks
literally
about
that's where we were. So I was just not prepared for that.
It's like the mafia. That's what it is. It's the beach mafia. Hey,
you want to go to the beach, huh? Hey. Be ashamed that someone trod on a rock or got stung by a jellyfish. These things happen.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Want to go down to that public beach down there? Well, I wouldn't.
Yeah, I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't do that. Public beach, people go missing. That's all I'm saying. It's dangerous. But yeah, so we went to Genoa. We were like, let's take a day trip to Genoa. Mrs. F, when we were on holiday, makes some dubious calls at times. She was like, I booked the tickets. We're going to Genoa. I was like, cool. Didn't realize that is an hour and 40 minutes on the train. And I was like, oh my God, if this train doesn't have aircon, we're going to die. And we're going to have to be walking around Genoa. She's like, they got an aquarium and shops. It'll be fine. We get to Genoa. We're all melting already. We're walking to the aquarium. It's like 20 minutes in the sun. Everybody's dying. We get to the aquarium. It's okay. We walk around Genoa. It's nice. Parts of Genoa are nice. Parts of it are fucking dodgy and horrible. We come back. That's the whole day, is us just being tired in Genoa.
How do you spell this? What are you saying?
Genoa.
Genoa. Okay.
Yeah. So then,
I've heard it looks really nice.
Well, parts of it, yes. Parts
of
it,
that huge.
Awful. Parts of it over a little Moss Isley. Yeah.
Oh,
well, the harbor's terrible.
Is it?
Really? But yeah.
It looks fantastic from the sky.
Well,
but I guess
maybe the prostitutes are not in shot. I don't know.
They got prostitutes there?
Yeah, dude, lots of them.
Oh my God, man. This sounds like my dream city. I love prostitutes.
It was okay. Genoa was okay. Like once you got into the built-up area with all the shops and the nice old buildings, it was pretty.
Yeah, it's got a George Cross flag and the coat of arms has it in the shield as well. Maybe at one point it had some leanings towards
Empire.
Yes.
No, so this is interesting. I was talking to my friend.
My brain just stopped working for a second. I'm sorry.
My friend Yoso.
Well, you're not actually English, so
it happens.
That's true. My friend in Italy, Yoso, I was chatting to him, and I was just thinking, I can't remember what I'd seen, but I was thinking about like the colonial era and how when you're in Italy, you don't really get the vibe of they used to own a bunch of shit because, of course, Italy wasn't unified until like the 19th century. They had like the Italian kingdom. And by then, everybody had done all the fucking discovering and colonizing and shit like that. So they were kind of way behind. And all they had was a couple of little bits. They had like Ethiopia. I think they did some shit in like, it was either Libya or Syria or something. But they weren't like a big colonial enterprise. Just stuff they could reach from the Med, basically, which was Africa. And even then, they didn't have too much of it. And that was why. Because I thought, geez, they're like not that different from us. Should be a naval power. They're surrounded by ocean, all the rest of it.
Yeah.
But they just never had that. But anyway, so then after we were in Italy for, I think it was 4 days, we drove to France. Just outside Monaco, there's a place called Roquebrune de Cap Martinet or something like that, which is just along the coast to the east of Monaco, about 20-minute drive. Very pretty area. And we turn up and I'm expecting our Airbnb to be, it's at some kind of block of flats or something like that. And I was like, we'll have an apartment there. It's like a complex. There's a pool. I wasn't prepared for La Dragonnière, which was the place we were staying.
Right.
Oh,
this place was very odd. Instant Shining vibes straight off the bat.
La Dragonnière. There, I found it. I think camping. Yeah. It's a camping place.
It's not a camping place. That's the wrong place.
Oh,
okay.
Okay.
It was not camping.
La Dragonnière.
Camping Sandaia Domaine de la Dragonnière.
No, I will find it for you here. If you look, Roquebrune Cap Martinet. It's just off hang on, let me find the
D52.
It might be on the D52.
The M23.
There's an avenue. I can't remember the guy's name. They're all named after someone. There is the Avenue Winston Churchill, which I was delighted to see.
Oh, right.
Interesting.
That made me happy. But the Avenue Paul Doumer is the avenue, and it's just off there, and it's called the Dragonry, or the Dragonnière.
It's not coming up on Google Maps.
So with that Dragonnière, is that like a place that you stayed at? Like the name of like was that the name of the Airbnb?
So it was a small apartment in a much bigger complex of apartments.
Oh.
And all the apartments were pretty small. And I was looking on like Airbnb and I saw it and it showed the kids' room and it was like a bunk bed. And I thought they won't mind that. What I didn't know is that essentially they just squeezed a bunk bed into what would have been a walk-in closet.
Yeah.
And I had no idea because I didn't check the floor plan. Mrs. F was like, kids are going to be struggling in that room. And I was like, oh, shit. And I looked and it was so small. Like you could close the door, but you couldn't open the door all the way. It was impossible. The bed was in the way. You had about 2 foot of gap. So the kids were like crabbing in and out of this room. And it was really small. The TV was about the size of a postage stamp. So if in the evenings we were watching telly or something, nobody could see it. And they had this weird thing where the sofa was on one side of the room and the telly was as far away as possible the other side of the room. So we're just like watching a postage stamp, and that was kind of shit. It claimed to have like a full kitchen facilities, but it didn't. You had a tiny 2-hob electric cooker and no oven.
Right.
So we weren't ready for that. So we do self-catering a lot when we're away because we love cooking, and it's like, they've got Carrefours and stuff like that. All the groceries.
Oh, those are so good, eh? The hypermarkets,
so good. Yeah. So the place was weird. When we got there, we were greeted by Monsieur Igor, who is the gardien de la Dragonnière. And he's just like the custodian, the grumpiest guy I've ever met in my life. And he showed us how to get to our flat. And it was like a series of elevators and staircases, and it was like a maze.
Was it explained by a series of tuts and grunts as well?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
So that was weird.
I love that.
So we drop off the bags in the apartment, and the kids are like, we want to see the pool. I was like, cool, let's go see what we've fucking paid for because this place is not great. We go down to the pool, and when we come back, Mrs. F is on the floor crying her eyes out. I was like, what's happened? She twisted her ankle.
Oh, shit.
She fell out of the bathroom, there's this tiny little step. It's like 2 inches high, like the thickness of a pack of playing cards. And she went to step, missed, and because she was wearing flip-flops with kind of a bigger heel, like a sort of platformy
like a wedge.
heel. Yeah, like a wedge. She just went over, and as she was falling, she realized that the corner of the wall she was falling towards, she was going to crack her head. So she had to sort of fall in a weird way to avoid cracking her head on something.
Oh
and just
my God.
tore the fuck out of her foot.
Oh, so man, that's
she could, like, yeah, it was really bad. This was on Saturday. So she was like, I really need painkillers. I've just used the last of the ibuprofen that I brought with me. I'm fucked. Like, what am I going to do? My ankle's killing me. We popped to the shop, we get some iced, like, peas, frozen peas, put that on there. Now, I didn't know this. The pharmacies in France close on a Sunday, right?
Sure.
Lots of stuff does in France.
Of course.
Still. Yeah.
But
So
you can't buy...
I think they're closed on a Sunday here, right, as well?
Right, but you can't buy paracetamol or ibuprofen over the counter in France.
Oh, really?
Even in the supermarkets, they have like those...
Nothing.
They're all like glass... There's a glass door. It's all like... you got to like...
It's the pharmacy only.
You got to get special access into them.
Yeah. So the pharmacist is the only place you can get paracetamol, ibuprofen. There's no corner shop you can get it. Nothing. So I was like, Christ, we're going to have to wait till tomorrow and hope we can find somewhere. Me and the youngest decide we're going to take a trip into Monaco because there's a pharmacy. The only fucking pharmacy in the entire area that's open is in the center of Monaco.
Yeah.
Fine. So we drive in. Now, I'm looking at the map and I'm like, parking in Monaco looks like an absolute nightmare. Like it is in all of these places. I swear to God. In the UK, we're so lucky with this shit. It never seems to be that much of a problem. Even Bristol, which hates cars, has plenty of parking if you just look for parking.
It's all empty because it's so expensive.
Yeah, but it's expensive in Monaco.
Yeah.
Well, Monaco is basically just a fucking like city state, right? It's like completely crammed in on the edge of
they've got
a
king and everything.
Yeah. It's like a little principality.
It's like a harbor with a slope with just like so many.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah,
packed
you
in
have to
roads.
have a certain amount of money if you want to live there. If you weren't naturally born there. If you can prove that you're naturally born in Monaco, you can live there.
Good luck. Yeah,
I mean, it's just crazy.
It's hard, but yeah. Otherwise, you just have to have a shit ton of money. Even people that
you can tell,
it relies on lots of people to work there, but none of them are allowed to actually live there. They have to commute in from other places. It's
exactly.
insane.
I doubt they even have like their fucking own hospital or anything. Do you know what I mean? It's so tiny.
Yeah. It is small. But so I thought we'll just park, like we're driving in and the car that we've got doesn't have sat nav somehow. And I'm basically relying on my youngest to navigate. And I was like, shit, we're going to go through some fucking part that you're not meant to go through, whatever. So we get into Monaco and I'm like, I'm just going to park as soon as I can and we'll walk. It's not that big. We park up and I find this parking lot and it's like all these little garages underground. I was like, awesome, we'll fucking park here. So we park up there. But then I didn't realize we were quite that far outside the center of Monaco. It's like about a half-hour walk in like 34, 35-degree heat, starting to warm up the whole time. There are buses, but they're like hourly. We're dying. So we get down there. My youngest is like a real trooper, but she's like flagging.
Sorry, guys. I just have to go do something really quick. I'll be right back.
I'm
so sorry.
I'm
so
right.
sorry.
It's okay. It's okay.
I'll just keep going. It's all right. We would have had to walk back up to the car park. I was like, fuck it. We'll get a bus back up there. This trip has exhausted us. Like this whole day, we're just fucking wiped out. But my daughter saw these things called Twizzies. Do you know what a Twizzy is?
No.
It's a car. It's a Renault Twizzy. It's like the shittest car you can imagine. It's like a fucking go-kart. And you can hire them. So she was like, Dad, we've got to hire a Twizzy and drive around Monaco. I was like, all right. So I look into it. You got to get this app and get approved and everything. So I say, all right, we'll try and do it later in the week, love. We get back home. We're exhausted. By the way, when we got back to the car park, she says to me, what does privé mean? I was like, what do you mean? She's like, it's written above all these little garages. I was like, oh, shit. We parked in some lad's private space in this Monaco car park. I just thought, what weird spaces. But no, we should have gone down a few more floors. Anyway, the holiday's proceeding. It's not great. We get the painkillers for Mrs. F. We get something to strap up her ankle and everything. She can't even get in the pool. Kids are bored out of their mind. It's not great. We can barely cook anything on this stove. It's like the shittest fucking kitchen. But we're managing. So me and the youngest, I get the approval on this app and we go into Monaco and we're trying to find a fucking Twizzy. And it's like a Lime bike. You see them on the app, you go up to it, you go beep, 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 it unlocks, you drive around, you park it where you're meant to park it. End of story.
Sure.
It's right in the center circle of the Monaco Football Club stadium. This is what it looks like on the map. I'm looking at the map. There's the pitch, and the Twizzy is literally in the center circle. I was like, this can't be right. Turns out there's a car park above the ground somewhere. And now we're walking around this pitch black car park looking for this fucking Twizzy. It's boiling hot. I've got no signal on my phone. Somehow my youngest spots the Twizzy, like fucking Legolas. She spots this Twizzy. We get in it, and I can barely fit in it. You know that scene in The Simpsons?
It's basically it's a front seat and then a back seat behind it, right? So it's like a two-seater.
I wouldn't call it a back seat. I really wouldn't call it a back seat. Okay. I wouldn't even call it a front seat, okay? So this thing doesn't have windows. It has panels that you can zip up that are just clear plastic. So to open the door, you reach inside the car, pull the handle, and then the door sort of opens up like a ladybird's wings. Okay, there's you can't fold the seat forward. My daughter just had to somehow get in the back. She's 12. She's not short. She's pretty tall for her age. She could barely fit in here. Like, she's definitely not adult sized, really. You could just about fit me in the front seat. I was like the Simpsons episode. This was the largest auto that I could afford. You know that with the really tall guy. That was me.
Yeah.
She's barely in the back, and I was like, "All right, love, off we go." She was like, "I'm so excited to drive this thing." This car is like this shitty electric car. It's got no acceleration. It is the steering wheel is so stiff because if you turn too sharply, this thing's just going to roll over. I'm not even kidding.
I see.
The brakes is like Fred Flintstone style. You've got to put your feet out and brake. That's what it feels like. This thing is so bad. As we're driving around, no word of a lie, people are pointing and laughing at our car, and we're just zipping around in this traffic. And I was just like, fuck it. I thought it was quite funny to drive past all these billion-dollar yachts in the harbor of Monaco. I'm in fundamentally the worst car I've ever been in, driving in and around all these Lambos and Porsches, and I'm in the fucking Twizzy. My daughter is laughing her head off, but people are literally pointing and laughing at our ridiculous car, which was quite funny. And because it's open air, like there's no windows, I was just shouting bonjour out the window to people, and they would give me these quizzical looks. It was fucking ridiculous. Anyway, we parked up, we had some lunch, we got home. But yeah, it was just like...
That sounds like that was the best day of the trip.
That was the best bit, because it made her so happy. And I was like, I am going to get this fucking Twizzy thing sorted. Like, I've got to do this, because otherwise she's not going to have a happy memory from this holiday. And she absolutely loved it. She really did. It was really funny. But yeah, it was just, all in all, not a great trip. It's kind of depressing in all honesty, because it was like our summer holiday, cost a decent amount of money, and I know that these are beautiful areas, but it's just like everything that could go wrong, in a minor way. Like Mrs. F's ankle was obviously really bad, but all the other things was just like, geez, that's disappointing and crap and not really acceptable. And why have you said there's a kitchen when there's barely a kitchen? Like, why have you said this apartment sleeps 4 when I would be uncomfortable keeping a pet in this second bedroom, let alone 2 children? It was so hot. I was like, why would you advertise this place as like a nice apartment when it's not? And the place in Italy was just kind of basic. Like, everything was basic. I was like, you're ripping off tourists. I can't get a look at this place. And now I'm here. We're fucked. Like, we're stuck in this place, and I feel like an idiot for fucking giving you all this money. It was really, really disappointing. And I felt like next time I'm going to just do way more fucking research and be way more cautious.
I think this is always the way. Like, I think in our culture, you're taught to upsell stuff, right? To the point of omitting the truth. Like, it's the same thing with everything. And it's always been that way. It's like that with estate agents telling you that, the house that's falling down is a doer-upper,
right.
Or, do you know what I mean? Like, they'll always spin negativity into positivity in the silliest ways. And I think it's almost automatic. That happens everywhere. You see it from eBay auctions to, it's part of the world, right? And I think it isn't a British thing to do in a sense, because we are more, well, you do see it a lot here in the UK, of course, but it doesn't feel as right, because we tend to understate stuff, or prefer to, we start with an apology.
So, yeah.
Do you know what I mean? We're like, sorry. We can't fucking help ourselves.
It's little things where you think, with just a bit more care, this would have made our holiday much better. Like, there was no fucking toilet paper. We had to go out and buy it. There was just nothing. Like, there was one bin bag. We're there for a week. So it's like, we're going to have to go buy this shit. You've got a cupboard full of this shit. And you're like, give them one. If they want more, they can buy it themselves. I'm like, I'm not paying £10 a night here. This isn't fucking EasyJet. This is an expensive holiday. And you're scrimping on that? You're scrimping on a fucking bin bag.
You're giving us half a roll of toilet paper.
Yeah. Like, what are you doing?
I have that almost every time. They're like, they give you just enough. They give you like half a roll of toilet paper and one dishwasher tap.
Yeah.
Right?
And you're like, great. Now I have to go buy
and you're like,
more.
oh, okay. I guess I'm glad he's. And I get it. Like,
No, I don't get it. Because they have a cleaner. They have supplies. I would be so embarrassed to rent somewhere out to people and leave them inconvenienced to save myself fucking 10p. That would be so fucking bad. And I look at the reviews of all these places on Airbnb, and they're all 5-star. We had a great time. Who the fuck is leaving 5-star reviews in these places? I would not be doing that. The aircon in this place in France, they didn't mention this. There's a bucket outside, okay? The aircon has a pipe that drops water into this bucket. We had no idea that this bucket existed or that we had to empty it. The next morning after our first night, this old lady knocks on our door. Monsieur, I did not sleep a wink because the bucket was dripping all night. I was like, what bucket? She's like, your balcony, the bucket. I go out there, and there's this bucket brim over, just water pouring out of it. I was like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. I empty it. We've now got to set timers to empty a fucking bucket. And do you know what? All the other apartments had a pipe that went round the side of the balcony and dripped like onto the bushes or somewhere like that. These guys, just have a fucking hose and a bucket.
Yeah,
we got there and they turned the power off when no one's using the flat. Fair enough.
Sure.
They'd been somewhere there that morning. We turn up with all groceries for the week. The fridge is fucking warm. Everything's warm. The flat is hot. Everything is like that. The place is cleaned, but they haven't resupplied. And then they have the nerve. This is what annoys me about some of these Airbnbs. When it's checkout, they give you a fucking to-do list of shit. Do this, turn the power off, empty this, do that. Like, don't you fucking have someone to do this shit? I've paid you over $1,000 to stay in your fucking place for 5 days, and you're making me take the bins out, empty this, do that, turn this. Fuck off. Have some fucking respect for your guests. It really gets my good. Don't lie to me on your fucking ad. Don't make me fucking tidy up the flat. You literally pay a cleaner to do that or do it yourself, so fucking do it. I would never, ever expect my guests to leave the place spotless on their way out, because this isn't your home. This is a place you've bought to let out on Airbnb. And that is part of the fucking deal. That is your job, is to prepare it for the next guest. Not mine, but apparently it's my job. It really pissed me off. Just little things like that.
The sponsorship with Airbnb is fucked. Sure.
Honestly, it's not Airbnb. The issue is not Airbnb, because I have some really good stories with Airbnb. The issue is people taking the piss. And both of these places charge way more than they were worth because you're a foreign tourist. They got you. You know what I mean? They've got you. You're going to turn up. It's too fucking late. What, are you going to find another Airbnb? You've already paid for it. It's not like a hotel where you've got a certain standard, like a Hilton or whatever. You know what you're paying for. This is just rolling the dice. And it was really disappointing because the people were nice, but they just didn't give a shit about the guests. They didn't take care of these tiny little details that would have made a huge difference. I've stayed in Airbnbs where you turn up. There's a bottle of wine there, milk, sugar, tea, coffee in the fridge ready. And it's like there's clean towels, there's beach towels, there's all the stuff you need. There was fucking nothing. Like there were like 2 towels for a 4-bed place. Man, 2 little towels.
Yeah, I've never stayed at an Airbnb, and I've always been a bit reluctant to stay at one because
some of them are great. I mean, the one we stayed at in Croatia. I stayed at one in Croatia. It was amazing.
Right.
The guy brought us fresh food every day.
Oh wow.
He was a fisherman. He would bring us fish every day. It's like, here's some fish. He's like, and also here's some fresh pork. My friend just killed a pig. Here's some pork. We went hunting and we got some deer. Here's some venison. Here's a load of sausages we made. Bringing it, and fresh fruit and vegetables, just bringing it to us. And he was the nicest guy, and this place was wonderful.
I mean, it was cheap. Maybe I'm jaded or something. I don't know, but like, if somebody was being that nice to me, I would really struggle to trust them. I would think like, I'm probably going to die tonight, or
No, I think that is
this guy just gave me pork. I'm dead. Like
I think maybe you don't travel enough.
Maybe
and see
not.
People.
Yeah,
you've become so insular.
Yeah,
he's being nice to me. It's a trick of some kind.
Well, I don't know, man. I think the older you get, you get screwed over so many times in your life leading up to you getting older. You just think, oh man, I can't trust anyone now.
No, I disagree.
I get it. Like I get it. Like we had exactly the same thing when we went around New Zealand, and the first place we went was looked nice and fine, and we turn up and the guy's like, oh, I didn't know you were coming because your fucking book. I don't check the booking.com or whatever. I only check this other thing, and so we were like, okay. And he was like, you can come in anyway if you want, and we were like, well, we haven't got anywhere else to stay, and we've just arrived from like fucking the UK. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's gonna. And so when we go in, and of course, like the whole place is like a shithole, kind of, because the last people have just left and they've partied around the whole place. And the guy's like, oh well, we can get you some new sheets, but that's all we can do, sort of thing. And so we actually went out and bought some fucking cleaning supplies just so we could like make the place not, because we were staying there for a few days. We didn't want to fucking live in this basically like gross kind of place.
Right.
And that was a place where they had their own water supply.
Oh my God.
Which was plumbed into the ground, but it was like iron was in the ground or something. And
it was like red water.
And so we the first load of washing we put on stained all of the whites like yellow.
Oh,
it was insane.
I could have done that for you naturally. I mean, you just mine are all like that too.
And so then we went to another place which was really, really nice, and they had it was like a farm, and they had a dog and like canoes on a lake. It was just super nice. And the next place we went was fucking tiny. Do you know what I mean? And the double beds were not double beds; they were single beds, kind of thing. And me and my partner had to sleep in a single bed together, which was one of the worst things I've ever done. Just don't do it.
Yeah, it's so rough.
And then, like the other places were a mix. One place cancelled on us at the last minute, so we had to find somewhere else. And then I'm sure I told this story, but we were stuck. It was like 10 p.m. right, and we got to this place, and they cancelled on us because they said, oh, we double booked it with someone else or whatever. And so we were like, fine. So we like rang up booking.com, and they were like, oh, don't worry, we've got a place for you an hour's drive away on this road. And so we looked it up. It was like, okay, so we drove for an hour to this place. I think it was called something like Victoria Road. And we got there, and I'm sure I've told this story many times.
Sorry, Jersey, we got one of those here. We got a Victoria Road over here.
We got there.
We got beaches over here too.
11 p.m. And we walked around the house. We couldn't find like the box for the key, and we were like, looking in the windows, peering in. We couldn't get in, and we rang up booking.com, and they were like, oh, you should be there. The key should be there. The person's click out and meet you. And we're like, well, I can't fucking find this person. It's like pitch black. There's no one here. It's just deserted. And I figured out that we were on the wrong Victoria Road. We'd driven to like 15 Victoria Road, but it was 2 hours the other way. So it was an hour south instead of an hour north. And of course, everywhere's called Victoria Road. We should have known. But fucking, we ended up then driving 2 hours more. We got there at 1 a.m., to this other place, found our way in pretty quick. But then, of course, there's no power. There's no gas on the hob or anything. You had to go out under the house to get a new gas tank from this spidery dark basement. There's tons of places like that are just, someone's holiday home or whatever that they barely care about. And, and I'm sure it's not convenient for them either to have people turning up at 1 a.m. But do you mean like it wouldn't have happened if the other people weren't as so careless with it? And that's New Zealand, which is a place where people are relatively on it. I think like France and Italy, they're all fucking laid back, chilled out people,
Yeah, they're pretty chilled out and laid back. Listen, I went to France one time, and we stayed at a hotel there. We'd had a whole long day of traveling, got to the hotel, checked in, everybody's quite pleased to get up to our room and, just sit down and have a rest and stuff. So I thought this is a great opportunity for me to go take a well-earned shit. So into the bathroom I went. I did my business. It took a little while. It was quite a big one. Like I said, we've been traveling all day, and I just needed to unload. There was a lot to unpack in there. Anyway, I took a huge shit and flushed the toilet, and it was instantly blocked. And I was like, "Oh my God, there's only one."
Wait, is that on you? Is that because of your mega poop, or are we blaming the toilet here?
Well, I mean, it's hard to know what's going on in those pipes, like it was a big poo. Granted, it was a huge one, so it could have been me. All right. Let's just say it was me, because the next part will prove it. Okay. It was a big one. It was a big one that did not want to fully flush down. Okay.
Oh my God.
So I flushed and
we've reached a new low.
Well, listen, it happens. I flushed and this sucker was not going down. So I did the forbidden technique. I took the toilet brush and with a lot of toilet paper in there, pushed it, pushed it thinking, it's moved a bit. It'll probably just go now, right? On the next flush. So I flush again. It didn't go.
Overflow. Yeah,
it didn't overflow though. Okay. The water went up quite high, but not near enough to overflow. Like there was still a little bit of wiggle room there. So I was like, I went out and I said to everybody, listen, I'm so sorry. I blocked the toilet. It couldn't be helped. I didn't think I was going to block it. But here we are, sort of thing. Everybody's like, well, don't worry. We've all been or whatever. Let's leave it. We'll leave it. Let's go out and find something to eat or whatever. And we'll come back. And it'll probably have been.
You still had an appetite.
It'll probably been cleared by this time. And
by whom?
Well,
the toilet goblin.
Naturally, it's in there soaking. It's gonna.
This is like the cobbler in the elves.
It's gonna get so full of water that it'll just start breaking apart. I'm sure that's what shit does. Anyway. So we leave, we go out and we don't even think about it again. We're out for hours. We get home and then, my kids are like, oh God, I'm dying. I got to go to the bathroom. They go in. Oh, I can't go to the bathroom. The toilet's still blocked. And I said, oh yeah, it's blocked, but you should, if you just need to pee, you can probably go. And they're like, no, we can't. Go in, and the water was right up to the rim. Okay. It had not gone down. It gone up. It gone up maybe an inch. Okay, so it's right on the rim. It's just threatening to spill over. So I was like, well,
this is like a horror story.
Fuck, it was awful. So I went downstairs to the reception and I said, listen, I don't know what's going on, but the toilet is blocked. And we flushed the toilet and the water is right up. It hasn't spilled over yet, but it's right up there. And we can't do anything about it. So the lady's like, okay, well, unfortunately, our maintenance guy isn't back in until Monday. This was Saturday evening. So, it's going to have to stay like that. And I was like, okay, well, what can we do? And she's like, listen, we'll put you in another room. We've got another room just down the hall from your room, the exact same room.
Wait, the exact same room? They brought the poo over?
No. Minus the poo. It's the exact same layout, everything. Same room. It's just down the hall. You guys can have that one. You just have to move your stuff or whatever. And then we'll just deal with the toilet, on Monday or whatever. So we're like, oh, thanks so much. That's great. Went back upstairs, moved all the stuff and whatever. And it was further down the hall. So we would have to pass the old room on our way to get to the elevator. Okay. This is important because
the room of shame.
It was the room of shame. Every time we walked by, we felt awful. But not so much so as the following morning when we were leaving, we walked by and we noticed that there was quite a few cleaning carts outside the old room. Not only that, the carpet in front of the old room, all in the hallway, was completely soaked.
Oh my God, no. With poo water.
Yeah, and we had to walk through it and feel the shame. And when we got outside, we every puddle we could find, we were rolling the suitcase through, rolling the buggy through, wiping our feet in, and just trying to dilute the shit water that would have been all over our feet and everything.
I find it's fascinating lack of trust you have in other people. I don't trust you around a toilet.
Man, the thing is that there's no way that me taking a shit should have caused all that. There's got to be some underlying issue. That's unbelievable. Sure. Why is the water going up? It's meant to go down.
You've taken shit
is it coming back up that much?
It's blocked.
It's it came up half a foot to overflow. It was unbelievable. The amount of water.
Sometimes they have a slow run, don't they?
Sure,
yeah, running slow.
So anyway, so we did end up having to walk through shit water caused by me. That whole room, I think they must have had to just take a blowtorch to it. Yeah, it's like, there's no other way. It's
talking about? I bet they had a big fucking family full of British people in the same afternoon.
Yeah. Your toilet's fucked, but that'll be $5,000, please.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Here's half a roll of toilet paper.
Yeah.
And one dishwasher tablet. I thought you were going to say, Sips, when you got the new room, you instantly took a massive shit
no.
toilet as well.
And then the whole trip, that was just the start. That was like the second night of our trip, because we were staying in kind of multiple places leading up to staying in like the main place we were going to. And the whole trip, every time I went to the bathroom, everybody's like, "Oh my God, have you done it again?" It's like, no, come on. This is not sticking. I'm not the toilet blocker guy, okay? It happened once. Under very unfortunate circumstances. I think there was an underlying plumbing issue as well, coincidentally. There's no way that I'm becoming known as the guy who blocks toilets. I don't often block toilets, for the record. Okay, it happened this time, and it was pretty bad. But what can you do?
I'm just gonna make a request, if I may. Please do not email in with your own toilet blocking stories. We get enough toilet and poop related emails that I ignore as it is.
Okay.
Please don't send in your own. That was a good story. Don't try and top it. All right. Sips's blocked toilet story is the end of this.
It was quite a shameful story.
Yeah, exactly. Private citizens. A few decades ago, private citizens used to be largely that, private. What has changed? The internet. Think about everything you browsed, searched for, watched, or tweeted. Now imagine all of that data being crawled, collected, and aggregated by data brokers into a permanent public record. Your record. Having your private life exposed for others to see was once something only celebrities worried about. But in an era where everyone is online, everyone is a public figure. To keep my data private when I go online, I turn to ExpressVPN.
Yes! Amazing. Thank you, period. Don't worry, because ExpressVPN has your back. One of the easiest ways for data brokers to track you is through your IP. But with ExpressVPN, your IP address is hidden, making it much more difficult for data brokers to monitor, track, and monetize your private online activity. ExpressVPN also encrypts 100% of your network traffic to keep your data safe from hackers when you're on public Wi-Fi. It works on all your devices, phone, laptop, tablet, you name it. Just tap one button to turn it on, and you're protected. I use ExpressVPN at home. I recommend you do. Protect your online privacy today by using expressvpn.com/Triforce. That's expressvpn.com/Triforce. You can get an extra 3 months for free. On with the show.
Do you guys want to hear a different story? This is a total change of pace. Something I read about when I was on holiday.
Sure.
I don't know how this came up. Have you guys heard of a guy called Carl Gugasian?
That sounds familiar to me somehow.
No, I don't know. He's not the guy who taught his daughter chess.
Is this a trap where you're going to say I'm some sort of racist for knowing who this is?
No.
Okay, good.
This guy's his alias was he was the FBI's most prolific bank robber.
Okay.
This guy he's still alive, 76. He was born in 1947 in Pennsylvania. This is his robberies, right? He robbed banks for let me think, about 30-year period. On court, he got about $2 million in total before he was caught and sentenced to 17 years in prison. Okay. This is how he would do it. His robberies were meticulously planned and executed. Using topographical and street maps, he selected small town banks which were next to wooded areas by nearby highway on-ramps. He would observe the target from the woods for several days to glean insight on employee behavior, waiting to strike in autumn or winter for earlier darkness. He would then create a cache to stash the money in his equipment immediately following the robbery.
Wow.
He carried out the robberies on Friday nights just before closing, believing this minimized the number of customers present and maximized the cash on hand.
Yeah, smart.
Characteristically, this is my favorite part, the actual physical, how he carried out the robberies. Characteristically, he wore a frightening face mask, such as a character from a horror film, making sure it fit snugly to hide the color of his skin, and wore bulky clothes to disguise his build. Entering the bank carrying a pistol, he moved in a crab-like manner to confuse estimates of his height.
Oh my God.
He would then vault the counter in a standing jump, landing with a frightening crash, then stuff his bag with money and leave, usually after less than 2 minutes in all.
Whoa.
Now, the crab-like manner is bizarre enough, because if a guy wielding a gun and wearing a horror mask crab walked into anywhere, I'm hitting the deck and I'm terrified. But the vault over the thing just reminds me of Bill Gates jumping over that chair. Because this guy is just a little guy. He's not like a big dude. Wearing a scent block to disguise his trail.
What the fuck? This guy's thought of everything.
I know. They should just let him get away with it, honestly.
Well,
he's done such a good job.
The woods. He'd stash evidence in his cache, then ride a dirt bike through the woods to a plain panel van where he would load the bike onto the van and get immediately onto the freeway. On one occasion, a startled bank manager leaned towards Gugasian, who shot him in the abdomen. So he was also, you couldn't fuck with him. Now, this is the bit that's a bit crazy. During his robbery of a Fulton bank in Susquehanna Township, Dauphin County, Pennsylvania, Gugasian shot responding police officer Sergeant Robert Bo McAllister, who died in 2019 from complications from the shooting injury. Now,
so hang on, how many years later is that? Sorry,
nearly 40 years.
Okay.
Now, complications related to the injury? I don't know about that. That's 40 years. That's a lot. That's a very complicated complication.
Well, maybe he took like liver damage or heart damage from it or something.
40 years, dude.
That is a long time to have
consequently, the death was ruled a homicide, and Gugasian was named as a suspect. But statute of limitations, investigators still hope to draw a confession from Gugasian somehow.
So hang on. So what is the statute of limitations on shooting someone then?
I don't know. Let's have a look. Statute of limitations.
I didn't think it had one. I thought the murder was no statute of limitations.
I think
that was
he
the
didn't
whole point
actually
of
kill
doing
him.
cold cases.
But he didn't kill him, did he?
What did he?
Well, he died of complications. So it's like manslaughter, is it?
I guess. I don't know. Either way, they're hoping that he'll just confess. He went to prison. He'd hidden the plans and equipment for his robberies, sealed in PVC pipes, hidden in concrete drainage pipes. These were found by two boys playing in the woods in Pennsylvania. From this material, police constructed a more accurate profile, which led to his arrest in 2002.
Wow.
His extensive cooperation after his arrest resulted in his initial 115-year sentence being reduced to 17 years. In prison, he taught mathematics to other inmates, and he was released in 2017 at the age of 69. So he's out.
He's free.
He's out.
He's meant to have 115 years.
115 years, he's out.
But because he was so cooperative, I bet you he loved telling them about everything he thought up to do him in.
But, I mean, even keeping the plans and materials not at his house, so if he got raided or they arrested him or anything, there's nothing in his house to incriminate. This guy was serious.
Yeah.
Professional bank robber. That's
it's
how you do it.
It's an interesting story, but I mean, it's, as cool as it is and everything, and as careful as he was and stuff, obviously the impact of him robbing banks would have been felt by a lot of people probably at some point, right?
Hey, I'm not saying he's a hero.
No, I'm not. I just, sometimes you hear stuff like this and you're like, oh wow, what a really interesting guy or whatever, but you have to always sort of remind yourself
fucking shot two people. He's a piece of shit.
He was also
so the FBI
criminal.
says at the age of 15 he was shot while attempting to rob a candy store. So he was trying to rob a candy store at the age of 15.
Yeah,
and was sent to this state youth detention facility. But on release, he apparently thought there was this misunderstanding that this FBI agent says he didn't know that juvenile records get expunged. He thought he'd never be able to get a real job. So instead, he took deliberate steps to continue with a life of crime and excel in it.
Wow.
Apparently, he did enjoy the art of ballroom dancing and even did it a few times a week. So he could have got a completely different life if he'd
just
if
not made an assumption. Yeah, he could have done
it. Instead of Strictly Come Dancing.
It's really weird how meticulous he was about everything except for that. All it would take is like a quick phone call. Hey, do my records stay around forever or not? I just need to know. No. I'm making some life decisions here this morning. Oh, man, that's weird, eh?
Oh, God, guys, we've got to talk about the Australian breakdancer at the Olympics, Ray Gunn.
Oh,
Did you hear this story?
I saw this. I saw the breakdancing, and I didn't really know what was going on. I saw her breakdancing, and I thought, she does not seem to be very good at breakdancing.
No.
What is going on? But I just thought it's the Olympics, so maybe it's like, it's not so much about the showmanship. Maybe it's like a technical thing or something.
Right. So this is the issue, is that I don't think people know how breakdancing is sort of meant to be scored, if you like.
Right.
Do you know the story of Ray Gunn, the Aussie entrant, and all the controversy?
I don't know her story, but I did see her performance.
All right.
First of all, the Olympics itself is a fucking big old load of weird, messy nonsense, right? It's got literal children doing death-defying stunts in skateboarding. There is a thing called the Youth Olympic Games, right? They actually sued us back in the day because we released some Minecraft videos called the Yog Olympics, and they are the only videos on our channel that have been actively removed by YouTube.
Wow.
Okay, because Yog is a copyright term, Youth Olympic Games, right? But that doesn't matter for sports like gymnastics, where it's routinely won by 13 or 14-year-olds. Which is okay, right? I guess. Is that okay? Maybe. And then, of course, like there's tons and tons and tons of sports and they're all ludicrous. And it's fun to watch because when you're watching the Olympics on telly, it's like, now we're going to go to some shooting. Now we're going to go to some people breakdancing. It's mental, okay?
I love the voice that you're using for this.
Is a mental idea.
Now we're going to go to some shooting.
This story is crazy. So she was like some sort of. What I heard was that there was an Australian university lecturer who basically was a casual breakdancer in her free time. She somehow qualified for the Olympics and went there and did a terrible job. But was kind of apparently either doing it on purpose or there was some sort of meme reason why she was doing it.
No, so what I read was that none of her moves are like standard moves. She invented all these moves, which you could tell because they're shit, right?
Like the one where she kind of drags her cheek on the floor slowly and stuff.
Yeah, these are all original moves.
These are all her moves.
So I don't know if she's thinking that should be worth some points, right? I'm doing all these cool original moves. But the way that there was no Breakdancing Australia sort of way that they selected her. Some organization I think she is familiarly involved with, either her mother or her husband or something, runs Ballroom Dancing Australia, and they, for some reason, the Olympics got them to choose. So they picked her. She's like clearly not a breakdancer, like obviously. I don't know what's in it for her, because I don't think you get a lot of money for being in the Olympics. And now she's a laughingstock and a meme. Was it worth it? I don't know.
I don't know if she is a laughingstock. She was certainly celebrated. The Aussies loved her coming back. They carried her down the street.
Really?
Do you know what I mean?
No, they didn't. Really?
They did. It's great. I think a lot of people really loved this thing and
did
thought it was
they like
funny
it because
and
it's
good.
like putting two fingers up to the establishment.
I think more people should take the piss out of some of these Olympic sports.
I don't know though.
Do you know what I mean? Like, fuck
the
it.
actual breakdancing competitors though were insane. Like, it is incredible. The contrast between her performance and somebody who's actually good at breakdancing is just.
I don't want to undermine the sport of breakdancing on this podcast.
It's never coming back apparently. Because the next Olympics in LA, right? Is that?
Oh, really?
I think it is, yeah. But it's not going to be an event, breakdancing. That's it. That was the first.
Interesting.
The first time and the only time.
They always do post a list of new sports. They're doing cricket. They're in 2020 cricket, flag football, squash, and baseball/softball. This in LA Olympics.
I think my issue is
some American shit back
that the continual expansion and adding of new sports. People have a problem with it because they're like, that shouldn't be an Olympic sport.
Man, some of them are crazy though.
Some of them are crazy.
The one where they have like that weird looking shotgun and they got a towel in their pocket. Who the fuck came up with that one? Like, what are they doing?
It is weird.
It's odd.
But I guess it's like, this is a chance for these people to compete internationally on a big stage for a niche sport that might not otherwise. But is pickleball going to be at the Olympics? Olympic pickleball.
This is what I'm saying. It's the fastest growing sport in America.
Better fucking be.
Exactly.
I mean, what is chess going to be? Is chess in the Olympics? Does that not count?
It's not very physical.
Exactly. Like it's. Simpson's got an answer for all of these.
No, I mean, he's right. It's not physical, and if we allow that, but they're going to have video games.
Are they?
They're going to have esports in the Olympics. Yeah, they want to add like Dota
well, if they have
something like that.
I'd say they should kind of fold chess into that too. Then I think it would make sense. I mean, the chess, like the world of chess, is
it is great.
It's huge. Yeah, I mean,
but answer me this, right? what other than the Olympics, name another shooting competition. Name another fucking volleyball competition. I mean, you could just say, the World Volleyball Championship, sure. But with football, you've got the World Cup, the European Cup.
Well, you got the
Champions
Commonwealth Games, I guess, is probably the next biggest, right?
I guess,
Below
yeah. And I'm
the
sure there's a
Olympics.
South American
And
one.
it has all the same
Pan-Asian
athletics
games and all this.
stuff.
But there's no like week in, week out competition that everybody's watching the way there is with so many other sports: basketball, hockey, football,
well,
American
it hasn't
football,
been
cricket, all of that.
It hasn't been sort of mainstream the same way some of like the big franchise sports are. Like
yeah,
your
but it's
hockey,
also like
basketball,
this is the
baseball.
chance for these guys. This is we have these games at the Olympics. Because that way it gives something.
Well, maybe the reason
for the whole season for running.
Maybe the reason why it's never branched out into anything is because there's just not that much appetite for it. I think people every 2 years, for the Olympic, and then 2 years after that, the Summer Olympics. I think people are happy enough just sort of saying, yeah, give me 2 weeks of like all these other sports.
Yeah, we'll watch them,
and
all.
I'll watch them. But I'll keep track because it's countries competing. It's kind of like people who don't watch any football at all, but then really love the World Cup, like me. I don't watch any Premier League football. I don't keep track of any football whatsoever. But I love watching the Euros, and I love watching.
Yeah, you got someone to root for,
Cup.
right? And
yeah. So it's the same with the Olympics. I would never watch any of these sports otherwise, but because it's in this big international competition, I'll watch it because I know it's just on for
and
like 2
weeks. It's coming, right? The fact is that, a 9-year-old today can prepare to do skateboarding in 4 years' time at the Olympics.
Yeah. That's what I'll be preparing my kids for.
But,
kids,
I mean,
the future is skateboarding.
There's other stuff that they can do around this stuff anyway. And I think in a lot of cases, these guys are just doing this stuff because they really like to do it. I don't think that anybody really goes in and says, okay, in 5 years' time, I'm going to be Olympics ready. Like, I think that does happen at some point, but I don't think you start with that goal necessarily in mind. You know what I mean?
Maybe.
I think you get into it naturally. You prove that you're pretty good at it, and then people start to push you in that direction.
I guess your coaches would do that. Your coaches would be like, look, you are really good at this.
This guy's exceptional.
We're going to put you in touch with
He's only 5 years old. He's doing double daffy laffy taffies all over the damn place.
God,
I can't contain him.
He's
Send
working
him to
on a
the
triple
Olympics.
taffy laffy. This is unbelievable.
This guy's doing triple daffies.
This guy's really fucking rich and has his own stables. He could be the horse guy.
It's like,
okay.
Holy shit, there was a bit of controversy around the horse stuff. Did you see that?
Which one? The girl whipping that horse or something else?
No, there's that woman who was set to be like the favorite to go for gold. She had to step out. She had to bow out just before the Olympics started because a video was released of her basically abusing her horse, being really
So here's
mean
my
to her
question,
horse.
right? Here's my question. That comes out and all the horsey people are like, oh gosh, that's appalling.
Yeah.
But I'm thinking, you guys are all fucking doing that, aren't you? You're all
She
fucking
was
whipping
apparently
these horses.
really losing her marbles with it. Like, you fucking stupid fucking horse! The fucking glue factory! If you're not careful, fuck you! Like, going crazy.
He said a triple daffy taffy laffy, you stupid horse.
People will do awful things for competitive. Look at what Lance Armstrong did, and the amount of people go crazy.
Oh, they do.
They fucking inject themselves with shit and fucking take blood transfusions. It's mental.
I'm
It's
just saying, I
insane.
reckon if you dug even a little deep, this is super commonplace. And in private, a bunch of horsey people might be saying, well, of course, sometimes you've got to thrash the beast within an inch of its life, otherwise they simply don't learn anything.
The Queen was really into horses. Do you think she was ever abusive towards a horse?
Apparently, yeah, I read a big article about it.
You fucking long-faced cunt!
You fucking bitch of a horse!
Today!
Philip, this horse is eyeballing me.
Is it? I'll see to you, you four-legged devil. Grab him by the mane. Push his face into his own poop, you devil.
Philip, beat him again. Charles, come in here and help.
Please help me, but mother, come here.
Philip, horse whipper.
Horse whipperer. Oh,
Fucking I think there's been
Robert Redford would be turning in his grave if he knew what was happening to all these
horses. If he was dead,
he'd
be turning.
If he was dead, he would be fucking turning.
I can't say that the Olympics was that thrilling to me.
I didn't watch much.
I didn't watch any of it actually. It's just been so fucking busy, man. Like
just
usually,
had the Euros. You know what I mean? Just had the fucking Euros.
Usually, like a little bit of time, but this year, no time.
Yeah. There we go. I think that's enough for podcast.
Yeah, that's.
Hey, I'm so sorry. I had to step away for a second. I've got
that's all right.
It's all right.
A whole bunch of crap to sort out, but we're getting there. We're getting there.
Exactly. Yeah.
Got busy time, busy place.
Busy bee. Yeah.
Thank you, everyone. We'll see you all next time when
Adieu,
we're all back from holidays.
Yeah, all back from when we all get back from our summer hollybobs.
No promises there'll be regular episodes for the next few weeks.
Fucking hollybobs.
Let us know. All right, take care.
Bye.